Y'all.
Oh, wow.
Hello. So we're going to talk about this woman. Oh, I know what it is. They probably didn't like the whole story. What you think? Remember they don't like stuff like that?
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So we're going to talk about this woman who decided to hurt her boyfriend. Well, she wanted to do a little more than that because she found out that he was cheating with her sister. So you guys come in, say hello. How you guys doing? How's everyone doing? Don't ask me nothing like that. Why did I change the name of the group? Don't ask me that. I don't like when people like ask people personal stuff about their business. Like that's none of your concern. And I don't mean no harm, but I'm of a certain age and I'm not here to like don't ask people nobody's business like that. Don't do that. That means you that means that you two into the back end of social media. You are supposed to be an observer and a participator of someone's page. You don't need to know that part of any of what goes on. That's our job. Our job is to always keep you guys wanting more. That's the job of a content provider. But don't ask them like back end stuff because then you're bringing reality to it. And why do that? Social media is about fantasy. It's about fun. It's about that. You know what I mean? Like don't ask people that. That's not a good look. And that really means I'm not doing my job because you really shouldn't even be you really shouldn't be thinking about that. You shouldn't be thinking about why somebody changed the name of anything. You shouldn't be thinking about that. So that tells me you need more. Right, babe?
Exactly.
And I don't mean no harm. And don't get mad at me, but that's not your concern. Your concern is what I'm doing right now, which is talking about what this lady did in one of these states that I forget. All right? And I mean that with all due respect. I ain't mean to say that, but don't do that. Don't do that, okay? I hope you understand where I'm coming from. All right. So before we get started, how's everyone doing? I hope you guys are doing awesome. I hate reprimanding people, especially people I don't know. But it's business, you know. I have to do it because I gotta set the tone to my videos. Don't ask me no personal questions. Don't ask me why I did this, why I did that. Don't ask me that. I'm renting space like everybody else. This is just one page out of billions of pages, honey. We not the only ones out there. I'm humbled on that. Okay? We may be the only ones that go live. Like, you know, we personable. I get it. But, you know, don't put me on the spot like that. Don't do that. Alright? Are we good? You guys hit the heart buttons if we all good. Okay? Alright. Oh, goodness. Why she has that?
I don't know.
You know, you put me on the spot. Okay, so if you want to know about the story is actually in the description, guys. So go ahead and check that out on your own leisure. Not necessarily now, but eventually, okay? So this lady, she, I guess the boyfriend had gone into a market. I'm not going to say which market it is because I'm not sure if that market wants to be associated with this horrible situation. But yeah, he went into the store and he left his cell phone, which probably tells me that he was really happy that day. He probably wanted to work it out with sis. He probably felt bad for cheating on her with her sister. at that time, because usually when someone is still in their mess mentally, because you can be in your mess physically, but mentally you could be somewhere else. You get what I'm saying? Your mind sometimes can be further along than what you are physically, if you get what I'm saying. So mentally, he might have been all up into his baby mama in the car. They're going into the market. They're going to make some food. They're going to have a good day. That's where he was, because that's the only reason why he would leave his cell phone in the car, which has text in there of him communicating with her sister. I just had to understand. Right, babe?
Yeah.
He must kind of forgot, or he just was like, you know what? I'm going to make it happen with this girl. He left his cell phone. So she went through the cell phone. Sis, bros, whoever's going on and watching this, let me give you a quick tip. If you're going to go down the rabbit hole, expect to find rabbits. And if you are scared of rabbits, don't go down the rabbit hole. What does that mean? If you suspect that your partner is cheating and you're not prepared for finding proof that your partner is cheating, if you know that you are a few nuts short of a fruitcake, if you know that your elevator doesn't run to, like, it got 15 floors in the elevator, but yours only run up to floor 11, if you already got priors on you, if you're already in the States, like this woman had already been in the States because of some things that happened with her previous child, don't become Sherlock Holmes. This is a prayer that I usually do. Reveal to me what is meant to be revealed to me. If it ain't meant for me to be, for it to be revealed to me, I don't need to know. I don't need to know. And if you want to go ahead and become Sherlock Holmes or Shirley Holmes, then you need to pray, cover your mind, cover your physical, cover your spirit. So when you do find out, if you do find out that your partner is cheating, that you'll be able to make a good decision afterwards. See, this person probably didn't have a mom or an auntie or a friend to tell her that. But what a friend we have in Jesus. Yeah, I'm going to say Jesus in my darn videos, and I don't care if it goes down to one person. You guys got to get used to that. I talk about God everywhere I go because He's the only reason why I'm here. My parents done gone, so they were just vessels. Babe, did you hear what I'm saying? You're not here because of your parents only. You're here because God is here. And He wants you to be here, okay? So understand that, okay? I don't know who that's for. But anyway, when she went through this cell phone, right? She went through his cell phone. She found a text. The text not only... come on, let's feel for this sister. 24 years old, mother, tired, worn, already probably knew that her man was cheating because she knew it because she went through his phone. When you feel confident and you know that your man is right, you're not going to go through his phone. Am I right? Of course I'm right. I can't wait for y'all to say I'm right. I got to know I'm right for myself. If you comfortable, you don't have to play Sherlock Holmes or Shirley Holmes. You don't have to, because you already know you trust them. You and your partner hasn't given you any feeling or any proof, or that he is cheating. So you don't do that. So the fact that she basically took that opportunity to go through his phone says that she already knew it. So if you already knew it, she already knew he was cheating. But you know what really made her go off? The fact that she found out it was her sibling. That's what it was. She already knew he was cheating. So if it was somebody that she didn't know, if it was somebody like a stranger, I don't think the story would have went down like that. What do y'all think? Y'all think she would have, I don't know. I don't know this girl from a can of paint. All I'm doing is commenting on the story. That's all I'm doing. You know what I mean? But I'm assuming that she already knew it. And it probably would not have gone down like that had she known, or had it been someone else. But the fact that it was her sister, I think really threw her off. It threw her off mentally. Honey, she was already thrown off, baby. She was already thrown off. I don't mean no harm, but I think she was already a little, if you will, okay, because this was this like, just like there's another story. I go in between stories. It's this video out there of this mother. She's showing her home after her teenage son went through it like a devil. Definitely, it was the fact it was her sister that is a different kind of pain. Yes. Did y'all hear about that the mother who basically filmed her home after her son ransacked it, if you will? I don't know what other word to say. Did y'all see that video? It looked like a horror movie. I was going to put it up, and maybe I'll put it up later. I'm not sure, because people are like, oh, he wasn't 12. He wasn't 17. He's 200 pounds. Then it's 270 pounds. Tomorrow he'll be 300 pounds. The next day he'll be 1,000 pounds. I don't care how big that boy was. I don't care about his age. That's pure evil. Oh, it's mental illness. Honey, we all got a little bit of mental illness in us. What the heck is mental illness? We all got a little bit of whatever in us. Ain't nobody perfect. So when people say, oh, I would never do this, I would never, honey, you don't know what you in flesh will do. The flesh is weak. So I don't believe in all of this. This is just earthly ways of putting it, titles and all of that. I don't mean no harm. I'm not saying that it's not real. It's real. But sometimes when we put a title to something, it takes away the importance of how important it is not to be in that situation, because the devil gets us to do stuff like that. If you saw the video, you would see that was completely devilish. Honey, he took a sledgehammer and had her whole toilet in half. It looked like a scene from Willy Wonka, but a dark side of Willy Wonka. I think he had a room where everything was half, I think. Honey, he had a hole in a wall. Mirrors was broken. Mirrors were broken. It was like an evil entity went through that home. I don't care how old that person was. I don't care how heavy. Because, honey, you can be 3 pounds, baby. If the devil uses you wrong, baby, you could do the same thing. How big that boy was didn't matter. He had an evil entity in him. And so did this woman that I'm talking about, who ran over her boyfriend as well as an innocent bystander. She had an evil entity. The devil took over, baby. Because that's who we work for. We work for the Lord, or we work for the devil. There's nothing else. Don't y'all know that we are spiritual? We're spiritual. Anything without the spirit is dead. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter your weight, your color, your financial, your success levels. If you have no spirit in you, you're dead. So the Bible says this: who today will you serve? Well, honey, when she found out that her man was cheating on her with her sister, the devil took over and told her to do what she did. And she wasn't strong enough to say no. Is that mental illness? Yeah, on earth, that's mental illness. But in the spiritual realm, that's, honey, you work for the enemy. She did the enemy's work that day. Because if you're cheated on, you can just walk away. You could just end the relationship. You could take your baby and go. She had her baby in the back seat. Her baby could have got hurt. Her baby could have flew from the back to the front of the darn car. Could have flew through the windshield. She didn't even think about that. She could have flown through the windshield. She could have cracked her skull. She could have did any of that. She wasn't thinking about that. She wasn't thinking about an old man who was walking across the street on a cane. Almost made it to the store. Almost made it to the store. And this is the thing about it, right? You remind me of Coco the gorilla. Look at that. See? That's what I'm being attacked. You get what I'm saying? I'm being attacked. I've never been called a gorilla in my life, but my ancestors were treated much worse. So I have to say, well, that's not as bad. That's how I look at it, man. I did a commentary on The Little Mermaid, how The Little Mermaid is having all of these dislikes. And I said it right on my page or on my video. You guys got to go watch it. It's on my TikTok. So go ahead on my TikTok. It's I Love Beauty and Wellness. Same thing. And just watch my commentary in it. Okay? But yeah. So she had a choice. She had a choice to leave. Because look, I had a choice too. I have a choice to feed into that comment or not feed into the comment. It's just that simple. I mean, a gorilla. I actually like gorillas. You get what I'm saying? And don't know why she called me that. And if I didn't have God on my side, and if I didn't have the strength of God, this is what I'm talking about. I swear, every time I talk about God, I get attacked. But it says it in the Word. When you stand for God, you're going to be attacked. You got to be a strong person to stand for God and teach His Word. Because He was attacked. Was Jesus not attacked? Was He not pinned on the cross? Was He not? Come on now. So you can't follow Jesus and say you're a Christian and not expect to get the same treatment. So I could do one or two things. I could not feed into it, or I can stand on it and use it as a stepping stool, as the Bible says. It will put your enemies and make them a stepping stool. Maybe that's what it means, babe.
Yes, that's what it means.
I never understood that. I got a quick little understanding. Yeah, stand on it and make it more content. There you go. Make what she said about me looking like Coco the gorilla, make that a part of my commentary. Well, if that's what you see, honey, I can't affect. Look, if that's what she feels that I look like a darn gorilla, then you got to think about this. What's wrong with her? Right? If that's what you see in me, then that's what you see. I can't control what you see. All I can do is control my reaction to what you said. And that's what she has to do. I mean, that lady who was behind the car, because I always know how to roll it back up. My commentary can, it's like Ali up in this piece. Sort of. Honey, if you actually watched the Ali fight, I don't know why he would stand there and take those blows. Did you see that?
Yeah.
I don't think that was wise. But I get it. But anywho, she had two choices. She could have left or she could have stayed. But even if she stayed, she could have just basically let him get back in the car and they had a conversation later on. And Lord forbid if you got in the car and if something else happened, we watch Snapped. We know the deal. Then it would have just been between them two and not the innocent bystander. Do you get what I'm saying? Her choice affected a lot of people. See, that's what happens. When you live your life and you feel like your choices is just about you, you become a selfish person and you affect other people in a negative route. Just like when somebody called me a gorilla, you didn't block them, right?
No.
Okay, good. I know that you guys are seeing, want to watch me and see my commentary on whatever I'm talking about. I thought about y'all before I responded. It's like, you know what? I have people who watch me. I have family who watches me. I have people who watches me that's in God's life, so that makes us family. I'm trying to build my community as people who watches my videos. And you guys are watching my responses. And so I put myself the embarrassment that the devil wants me to have because somebody called me Coco the gorilla. Let's go ahead and Google Coco the gorilla. Okay? Let me go ahead and do that. And I'm laughing because God just always gave me this gift to turn lemonade, because I love lemonade, y'all. I do love lemonade, okay? But you know what? Lemons are not sour if you let it sit for a long time. They get sweet. Hello, I don't know if that's, Coco the gorilla, and it's Koko, not Coco, like Coco, Coco. Okay. Now, Coco is a real gorilla. She was born in 1971 and died in 2018. Ugh. So not only did she compare me to a gorilla, she compared me to a gorilla that's no longer here. That's Coco the gorilla. That's too bad. So what that tells me is she wants me to be quiet. But I'm not going to be quiet, because when I have God in my life, and when you speak in God, honey, only He can tell you when to be quiet. And I looks nothing like a gorilla. And just because I'm an African American does not mean that we are gorillas. We not gorillas. So that was what you would call playing the R card, wasn't it? Oh my gosh. I just was racially profiled. I'm 40 something years old and I was never called that before. Wow. That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
But guess what? If that person was in my face, it would be like, hello, how are you? They couldn't say it in my face.
No.
Because I gave you no reason. First of all, I gave you no reason to call me Coco the gorilla, did I? Just the fact that I'm up here being who I am.
Exactly.
You called me Coco the gorilla.
I thought we were mature individuals.
Is it because I'm big?
No.
Is it because I'm black?
No. It's because.
Is it because I'm speaking of God? No, they're not trolls. These are real people. And see, the thing about it is, I'm gonna tell you this. Even the trolls, you have to understand. When you go on someone's platform or video, this ain't my platform. It's just something I'm humble to know. We all know whose platform it really is. But when you go on someone's videos or content and you put out negativity to them, all it's going to do is go right back on you. You get what I'm saying? So when I go live, I know I'm open to both of those things. I don't congratulate it. I don't welcome it, though. You don't have to welcome it. Anybody who welcomes trolls and do things that are trollish, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that, because it's going to gravitate anyway. Because if you're doing godly things, if you're doing the right thing, people are not going to like it. If you're doing bad things, they going to really come for you. So you might as well do what God wants you to do, which is the right thing to do. And that's what we're doing. So if you call me Coco the gorilla, if you call me, what's another animal? Becky the baboon. If you call me Trixie the tarantula, I don't care. I mean, it is what it is. I'm human. Don't get me wrong. I am human. But I just choose to laugh at it. You get what I'm saying? And things like that. Okay. That's neither here nor there. But I've never been called a gorilla in my life. Not in person. I've never been called a gorilla in my life.
You still have it in person. This is social media.
It's funny how you can be called everything. Half the things I've been called on social media, I have never been called in my real life. Because, obviously, you're just not going to walk up and say, hey, what's up, Coco the gorilla?
No.
Not going to do that.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was made in the image of God, and so were you, okay? And He did make the gorillas. But I'm not a gorilla. I didn't come from a gorilla. Anyway. I'm not going to lie, that was a little off, but okay. And she said it in all caps. Like she wanted me to see it because she knew I don't have real glasses on, you know?
Yeah. I looked at the profile. It's a fake profile. I've seen it.
It's a fake profile?
It's a fake profile. There's no pictures on it.
Well, honey, I'm going to tell you this. Any trolls that come on here, you're gonna actually be used as content. You're gonna actually help my watch time. You are really gonna help me out. So if you want to push me down or push a person down, I wouldn't be your girl, because I'm just not going to do that. I use it as content. That's what I do. So, and if it's too disrespectful, I won't even see it because it'll be hidden. So, it is what it is. But let's get back to the story. So she had a choice. She chose to do what the devil wanted her to do, because you understand. Like I watch horror movies, love them. I love suspense movies. I love to figure out the mind and why we have mental illness. Honey, I just think they was put a darn title to it so you'll get accepting to it and get used to it. I think that's what they do, because at the end of the day, it goes back to the Bible when that guy called Legion had 500 different spirits in him. Was that mental illness, or was that he was just basically possessed with a lot of spirits? But now we're calling it mental illness. No. No. I'm not. I don't buy into any of that. I don't buy into the D word. Y'all know what D word I'm talking about. I don't buy into any of those terms that they're trying to push to us about the mind. If you know who God is, if you accept him for your savior, if you know what he wants you to do, which is work within your talents, mental illness cannot reside in your brain. That's my mental and spiritual belief. If I am doing what God wants me to do, if I'm working within the talents in which he has given me, then there is no time for me to do the devil's work. See, the saying says this: an idle mind is a devil's paradise. If you have no guidance, if you have nothing to do, then you have time to get into something else. I remember when I was a child, I was a latchkey kid. If you don't know what latchkey kid is, look it up. It's a cool term. It's a term that still resides today, but you don't really know it because we're in a different time. And I didn't have anything to do. My mother was a single mother. She worked all day, and sometimes she wouldn't get home till 8, 9 o'clock at night. So from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock, your girl didn't have any activities to do at home. So what did I do? I welcomed boys in my house. It was one boy, just to let you know.
Okay.
Your girl wasn't that hot, okay? But if I had something else to do, I wouldn't have welcomed that boy home. I could have welcomed teen pregnancy in. I could have welcomed drugs in, all of that, because I was a latchkey kid. Being a latchkey kid for the first 7 years of my life, because, 5, from 5 and up, my parents broke up. From that 5 to 13, I lived with my mother until she passed away. And then I had my wonderful grandparents. Wasn't a latchkey kid with them. They were home all the time. They were retired, they were successful, and they never let their child come home without them there. And if they were not there, they tested me. I would come home, and then within 10 minutes, they were rolling around. I saw them parking in the back of the house. I said, oh, man, they were on it. But my point is, when you don't have anything else to do, it gives you more time to do what the devil wants you to do. So always be busy in what God wants you to do, and you won't have time to listen to any other voices. Because the voices that we hear two voices. So that's why I said we all have some type of mental conditions, right? You're supposed to hear one voice, but it's many voices that we could hear. But it's only one still small voice that I hear, and that's the Holy Spirit. And when I hear that small voice, I'm calm, I'm cool, and I'm collected. You can't hear a still small voice if you're loud, if you got a whole bunch of sugar running through your system and alcohol, and you're smoking and you're not sleeping, and you hear other things. It's people out. I would just watch another on Netflix. It's called The Sins of Our Mother. Watch it. It's pretty good. And one thing the woman said that is accused of the things that she's basically in jail for now is she said she didn't sleep for 3 days. If you go back to 2001, there was a movie called The Ring, right? And Samira, that was the entity that came out the well. One thing Samira didn't do, and what didn't she do, husband?
She didn't sleep.
She never slept. Mm-hmm. And what's being attacked now? Our sleep. If I had to interview this young lady who did this issue where she broke her baby daddy's leg.
Oh, she just had a baby.
Huh?
She just had a child. How old was the child?
8 months.
Ah, so you know she wasn't sleeping.
Yeah. If I had to ask her one question, because I'm a holistic practitioner, so I come from a holistic standpoint. Forget the cheating. Are you sleeping? When you don't sleep, it helps you to be more stressed out, more adrenaline, more cortisol, more fear. God doesn't give us a spirit of fear. When that still small voice tells you that, yes, your partner is not being faithful to you, you're supposed to pray and communicate to your partner while you're calm. While you are calm. I remember my grandmother, she told me one day, this was when I was newly married, and my husband and I, we were catching a bus, and it was this little tenderoni out there. I was a tenderoni too, but she was more tender than me, if you will. You remember that day?
I remember that day.
And I thought he was looking at her. To this day, he claimed he wasn't.
I was not.
So what were you doing, sir?
I was standing on the bus side with you.
So you didn't see the young lady?
I wasn't staring.
But you did see her.
I looked at the
and
bus.
She had a big.
We were waiting for a bus, and it wasn't our bus. But I was looking for a bus.
She had a big rompus.
I didn't notice any rompus.
You didn't see her rompus?
I didn't see any rompus.
I saw it, and I thought you saw it.
You know I wear glasses.
To this day, my husband said he did not see the rompus. Thank you so much for those stars. I appreciate you. Anyway, I had high blood pressure that was uncontrolled back then. Notice I said I have high blood pressure that wasn't controlled. Hypertension is something that you don't just get rid of, and that's diabetes and all that. That's not something you just get rid of. Once you have it, you have it. You have to learn, like the Hulk, you have to learn how to control it. And so I can control it now. But then I wasn't aware of it to control it. And so I got mad at him, very pissed off at him, and acted as if he actually did something, and I was very angry. And then I went and I talked to my grandmother, and I said, you know what, I'm going to leave my husband. I was 20-something years old. She was like, I don't know where you're going because you're not staying here. I tried to leave my husband twice. First time I went with my aunt, I told my aunt I couldn't deal with my husband because of his mother. She's like, where are you going? I think they both came from the space where you can't stay here. So they gave some great information. And so my grandmother said this. She gave her story with her first husband. She said, oh, please. And she said it just like that. She said, imagine, oh, please, that boy loves you. Don't worry about it. She said it just like that. She said, honey, he's not going nowhere. That boy loves you. Okay? Imagine a woman calling your house talking about your husband having a whole affair. She knew her husband had a whole affair on her. Okay? And the woman called her house. And she said, honey, if you ever call here again, it'll be your last time. And I think she really meant it. Ooh, Lord. She knew her husband was having an affair, but back then women were different. She was silent. She didn't tell him. At least that's what she told me. They never talked about it. And so she said that, basically her first husband had gotten real ill, and he had gotten basically colon issues, you know what I mean, the CC. And she ended up taking care of him, until he passed away. And I looked at it now, I was like, did she do a little Tyler Perry? I don't know. But my point is, she never went to him in her anger, because she told me how her anger worked. She said, because she married my grandfather, that was her second husband, okay? But my grandfather and her, they actually dated in college. She was the girl who wouldn't give it up, so he went on and got married to somebody else, because back then, women wouldn't give it up outside of marriage, so they said. Right? It was more prone for women to wait to marriage then, we'll say that. And so they met up after each other's spouses passed away and got married. And so she said that basically she didn't discuss it with him or anything. She just stayed married to her first husband and kept it moving. She told me how her anger was. Her anger was a smoldering fire. My grandfather's anger was like, boom, and then it's over. Honey, a smoldering fire is worse. So she knew that if she had talked to her first husband about him cheating while she was angry, she probably knew that it wouldn't have been a good situation. You got to know who you are to protect yourself. You want other people to protect you. But if you don't know who you are, how can others protect you? You got to protect yourself. Like when that person called me Coco the gorilla. Babe. Honey, I already got 2 strikes on me, first of all. But when she called me Coco the gorilla, I'm like, if you really know how gorillas are, that's how my darn anger was back in the day. I think that was more of a attack on my spirit than how I look. Because that's exactly how my anger used to be back in the day. I used to be like a gorilla. If you know anything about gorillas can tear you apart if they get angry. But they always are basically filmed as calm animals, loving animals. But no, if you press them the wrong way, they will tear you apart. And that's how I was. And then the day that I learned that is the day that I asked God to help me to control that part of me. I used to tell my husband, I said, honey, do you know who I am? And he used to look at me like I was crazy. Because there I was. Do you understand when hypertension goes through your system, what it does to your brain? See, everybody wants to talk about having issues, bipolar. Let's just put it out there. Bipolar, schizophrenia. What's another one? Is it bipolar and schizophrenia? Is that the major 2? Manic issues. Okay, but it's bipolar and schizophrenia. Let's talk about schizophrenia. What I understand about schizophrenia is this, and I've never read on it, but after this video, I might read on it because I feel like I need to know about it. Just because I'm in this entity, I should kind of know about it. From what I understand, schizophrenia is having different personalities. Is that it?
I think so.
Where do these different personalities come from? See, God is the beginning. He's the same in the beginning, in the middle, and the end. He said, I'm the Alpha and Omega. The same God people are praising today is the same God people praised back when we were in slavery. This God has never changed that I'm talking about. He loves you to beginning and the end. He loves you. He wants you to be successful. From all of my ancestors talks about the same God in the same way. See, the devil changes. The devil is not dependable. The devil will freaking be one way 1 minute and the other way. You're a jackal. A devil will smile in your face and all the time he want to take your place, backstabbers. That's the devil. But the God that we serve, he's the same all day, every day. So what makes you think that schizophrenia is not devilish? We just broke that down. Believe in that. So anybody who is deemed, and I'm talking from a preventative state, because once you become diagnosed with something and you start taking the entities of that diagnosis, of course it's going to alter your mind, and then yes, you're stuck. I'm talking to anybody who may have a parent that has schizophrenia, or have a family member, or sometimes you feel like when I was younger, I would hear like different in my head. I ain't gonna even lie. I told my husband that. He still married me. Remember I told you that, babe? But guess what? I didn't understand the voices. Oh, I think that was God muffling something that could have taken over my life. To this day, I don't know what those voices were saying. It really sounded like wonk, 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 wonk. But I knew that they shouldn't have been there. It's like, what the hell is going on? I heard all kinds of little different voices in my head. but I could not understand him. And I thank God for being that muffle, that blocker. Mm. You know that scene in that Marvel movie, Spider-Man, and Tobey Maguire was right there, and he was stopping that train, and he was using all of his strength to stop that train from going over the cliff. And I feel like that was God muffling those voices where Jenna didn't hear them. you know, and never did. And I asked God to take him away, and I haven't heard him since. And I think this was when I was 10, 11, or whatever. I don't know. I can't even tell you what age. And so God knew this day was going to come where I was going to be talking about mental illness, because we have become so comfortable with saying it. Oh, well, the boy wrecking his house, that's mental illness. Oh, the girl who ran over her boyfriend, that's mental illness. Oh, no, that's the devil. Call it for what it is. That's devilish. It is what it is. Don't let what we see on earth wreck the blueprint. And the blueprint ain't Jay-Z's goddamn CD. The blueprint is the Bible. No, they didn't say Coco the clown, honey. They said Coco the gorilla, baby. Homegirl was she was like, honey, I'm just saying, if they was gonna call you Coco the clown, I said, they ain't call me Coco the clown, they call me Coco the gorilla. You know what I mean? They ain't call me Coco the clown. They call me Coco the gorilla. And I looked it up, and it's a real gorilla. Yeah. And I didn't have to look up Coco the gorilla to know that I'm not Coco the gorilla. I did that just to add something to this video. I know I ain't no gorilla. The image of God. It's a clown called Coco, but she called me Coco the gorilla. I'm laughing because God gave me the spirit to laugh. You know, my grandmother told me you laugh to keep from crying. So, you know, people would look at that crazy. Oh, she's laughing. She's about to break. No, I was taught. In fact, it says it in the Bible. You know, you have to do that. You know, you have to laugh at things, because if you go with it,
I can do all things.
Right. If you go with it, then of course I'll go laugh. Like, I'll be thinking that, oh my gosh, but first of all, look, I ain't got no money to change my looks. So I say, if you notice, because I'm a spiritual young lady, and I'll always call myself spiritually young, even when I'm not young technically. It's all in how you think. Oh my gosh. You guys got to listen to Dame Dash. That man will make you feel like you're a billionaire. I mean, Lonnie. I said it must have been a spiritual attack to see what I would do, because back in the day, my anger was beastly. And I'm not proud of that. I'm just saying that I identified my problem and God guided me. Just understand that. Your maker, your manufacturer is God. So he knows you. So if you're going through something that is causing you to have mental issues, then you got to go to God, and God will cast all that out. Because what he's going to do is he's going to give you joy. If you got joy in your soul, all that other stuff can't reside. Do you guys know that? When you are joyful, when you have that real joy and happiness are totally different. Because no man can give you joy. And when I say man, I mean human. No human can give you joy. You don't want your joy placed in anything that could be taken away from you. That's another word. You don't put your joy in your cars. You don't put your joy in your children. You don't put your joy in your spouse. You don't put your joy in your money. All of those things are temporary. Your child is not a child forever. Your spouse may not be there forever. But God is there from the beginning to the end. He is the Alpha and the Omega. He ain't going nowhere. Even when you are in your mess, God is right there with you. See, when the devil uses you, he uses you and throws you away like trash. He uses your spirit, and then your flesh got to go to jail. Hello? That's why you gotta be careful what you say, because they say, the word says that the word can cut like a knife. Life and death resides in your mouth. So if you find out somebody's cheating on you, you say, I'm the head and not the tail. I'm above and not beneath. God, guide me. Fill me. Put the words in my mouth to say to my spouse. Pray for yourself. Don't go towards the anger. Don't go towards the maltreatment. Go away from it. Somebody called you Coco the gorilla. You call them blessed and highly favored. I don't know what to say about it. You know, somebody called me Coco the gorilla earlier in this video. I was like floored. I just laughed. God just said, laugh, girl, laugh. Don't, But when I was 7 and 8, and people would make fun of me, and I was a child. I could have been that person on Valentine. Remember the Valentine? That was a movie too. And it was about a student or a man who was made fun of. And nowadays, we see that in real life, don't we? Unfortunately. And he went off and started getting rid of people, if you will. I mean, we all fall short. We're all like a thin line between sanity and insane. And the thing about it is this. Sanity, insane, is relative. Because what I'm talking about now, to somebody who doesn't understand what I'm talking about, I sound insane. Right? I can't go by other people's thoughts of what sanity is. So I go to my Bible and say, what is, I follow that. And when I follow that, I say, okay. Because see, what I'm talking about, only a few people are going to understand. You get what I'm saying? It is what it is. So if you're not in a particular lifestyle, you're not going to understand it. And the lifestyle I'm talking about is the godly lifestyle, following what God wants you to do, even in the midst of your struggles. Oh my gosh, it is what it is. When you have financial woes, who in here hasn't gone through some type of financial woes? You can do one or two things. You can get finances in a good way, or you can get your finances in a bad way. Like it's a verse in Tupac's song, right? And it's called Changes. And he said, oh, I made a G today. He said, but you made it in a sleazy way. Sell it to the kids. Right? Yeah. And so if you made a G today, but yet you got it in a sleazy way, that ain't nothing to be proud of. I'd rather get $10 today, but I did it in the right way. That is good, because I have a thing called a conscience. The only person or entity that has the right to take a life is the one who gives life, which is God. None of us had the right to do what this young lady did. No, nobody. And the only person who would tell you that you had the right to end someone else's life is the devil. There's a movie that my husband, we watched. It was called I forget who played in it. It was one of those African American actresses, maybe Viola Davis. It might have been her. And she played this thing, and she was the warden of people who, they go to jail and they, on the death row and all that. And the movie was powerful because it showed that some people aren't even able to do that job because it is taking lives. Even though it's an illegal entity, she went off. She mentally could not handle that job. And so I don't even believe in that. Because it's like, what does it do? It doesn't bring back anybody. It doesn't take away the pain from losing a loved one. It doesn't do that. It just basically constantly pushes the narrative that if you feel that this person shouldn't be here, you have the right to do that. And I don't feel like none of us have the right to do that no matter what happens. You have to pray for yourself to understand what I'm saying, because this comes from just peace of living. The longer you live in this earth and the longer you've gone through things, you just get different perspectives. And so this girl is 24 years old. So they say technically the mind doesn't fully develop until 25. So what do I feel like this woman should get? First and foremost, I pray they give her a mental evaluation. I would say a spiritual evaluation, but we all know who we up against. Okay, so yeah, mental evaluation. I feel like they should really, see where she's coming from. Because the thing about it is, another thing is, she had her 4-year-old taken away from her. So she had a 4-year-old and an 8-month-old. And her 4-year-old, oh, that's why that person keep talking about my tattoos. Because you're talking about God, but you have tattoos. Maybe that's what they're saying. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, please. See, that's why the thing about it is this. This flesh don't matter. This flesh, honey, when this flesh is said and done, guess where it go? To the ground. You know what I mean? That's what it is. It doesn't matter. This flesh don't even go back to God. This flesh stays on earth. And it goes back to the earth. That's what it do. It's all about the spirit. The spirit goes back, because that's what really matters. The spiritual thing. See, the devil tells us to get wrapped up into physical attributes because you're only using your physical eye. You got to be understanding of what I'm talking about to understand where I come from. You got to have a spiritual eye to really make better decisions in your life. Is this the right job for me? Is this the right person for me? Is this the right food I should eat? Stop eating food because it looks good. I can talk about that all day, every day. We go to food because it looks good. Then it gets in our body. It causes havoc in our hormones, causes all kind of chemical reactions, and then it messes with our brains. That's what it does. But nobody wants to hear the truth. But I speak it. I know what that girl ate. She probably ain't eat nothing, or she had a hot dog right before. Even though it's going to Kroger's, so I don't know what kind of thing is Kroger's. I don't know if that's a health food store or not. Only certain people cheat. But we not going to even go there. Big. She probably don't drink water.
Probably doesn't.
There's a certain diet, physical diet, that welcomes in that type of activity. Even if you have a child who has mental declines, or if you want to say that, or it's some type of mental condition that is not healthy. If you feed them sugar, if you feed them caffeine, if you feed them processed foods, is it going to make that situation better or worse? That's your homework today. If someone already is having problems with their mental development, because we all have mental issues, all of us, you're not no better. That's why you got to pray before stuff happens. You got to cover yourself. You know what cover yourself means? Cover yourself means to cover it before it even happens. So even when you go through it, your brain doesn't go but so far into the negative realm of it. Cover yourself. Govern yourself accordingly. Cover yourself accordingly. You going into a relationship, know that spirit of cheating can come in. Knowing that spirit of lying can come in. When you want to be with somebody and you want to be monogamous, know that it can be attacked. And cover yourself when things happen. That way, when they do happen, you still good. When you have a baby, know that baby grows up. Know that baby will have friends. Know that baby will be around other people that may not be the baby that you raised. And cover that baby accordingly. So when things do happen, your child won't be involved in those situations. Okay? So when you eat certain foods, those certain foods are going to welcome in certain entities. So if you're eating things that are going to make your body relax, if you're eating what's going to make your body produce good hormones, then those type of people are not going to be the best vessels for negativity and evil. Yogis, people who breathe and meditate, people who think and feel that their bodies are vessels and temples for positive, would not be a good candidate for these negative spirituals to come and try to attack them. Right? Just like I said to this person who called me Coco the gorilla, or whomever else want to come in and try to say, look, I'm not a good entity for you, because all I'm going to do is joke about it, laugh about it, teach about it, and I'm just going to make it a part of my show and bribe my darn watch time, and it will make me more money. So if you do that, just understand you are my darn employee at that moment, and I'm going to use you for your content. I ain't getting no more attacks, did I? It's just that simple.
Exactly.
You hear what I'm saying? You gotta know who you are. So cover yourself accordingly. That's going to be what I'm saying about that. We don't accept any kind of mental bipolar. What? We all bipolar. Accept it. You get what I'm saying? Like Eminem did in 8 Mile. He said, "Yeah, I am this. I am that. I am this. Yeah, yeah. Clarence's parents had a real good marriage. Yeah, remember that? He just basically took the tools in which his counterpart was going to use against him. He was like, yeah, all right. And okay, so we all have those. We all fall short. And it's a very thin line between sanity and sane, whatever that is. I stopped saying normal. You know, somebody said, what's normal? Normal is relative. You know what relative means? Relative to the people who are in it. Like, what's normal for me may not be normal for you. So those type of terms are the terms that kind of feed this industry of saying that mental challenges give people the right to do what this young lady did. Look, I've had people around me who have been deemed mentally ill. But you know what's keeping them sane? God. God is keeping them sane. God is keeping me sane. God's keeping us all sane. Let's just keep that. I mean, I need to look up, what does God say about mental illness? I don't, my one of my family members told me years ago, and she was like, "Oh, that ain't nothing but a spirit." And I thought that was off. I was like, "What? What do you mean?" I didn't understand that, because it just made it so simple for me. And it made it simple, like it wasn't real. What's real? The only thing I know is real is God. Why? Because he never changes. People change. Situations change. But God never changes, so he's the realist. And so you got to lean towards him no matter what's going on. And then things like this won't happen. Especially, and then let's get to the child who wrecked their parents' home. I don't care what the back end story of it. At the end of the day, that was devilish. And everybody who has been deemed these type of mental whatever, they don't do stuff like that. Right, babe? Exactly. Does everybody who had bipolar do this stuff? No. So, gotta be careful what you deem things to be, because that's the moment that you'll start to accept it. And that's not good. Okay? Thank you to the lady who called me Coco the gorilla. You gave me the notion to keep going. Thank you so much for calling me that. I had to have that for y'all to get this hour or so video and this great commentary. Thank you to her. Thank you to the person who talked about my tattoos, because you helped me tell people it's not about the flesh but about the spirit. So thank you to everyone who listened. Thank you to everyone who threw those little jabs. Thank you, because the jabs make you better.